Hey there, it's Tank Girl, and this is the Motorola Milestone XT720. This is a phone that lies somewhere between the original Droid in performance, a little faster, and the Droid X, because it shares the same camera as the Droid X, the 8 megapixel autofocus mechanical shutter camera. But it adds two really important things. It adds a Xenon flash, and it adds AWS-3G, 1700 megahertz. Compatible with T-Mobile and Wind in North America. So it also has HDMI out like the Droid X, and basically it's kind of a hybrid. And so I wanted to get my hands on it because I really like camera phones, as you know, and this is an Android phone and a good camera phone possibly. So we're going to find that out. The other thing I wanted to say is that you can get this online from various retailers. This is a British unit, but I got it from a US retailer. The other thing is that you can get it from Cincinnati Bell and iWireless on contract as well. So it looks to me like it was almost destined to become a T-Mobile phone at some point in the US, subsidized, but they pulled the plug before they launched it for some reason. Anyway, so here it is, and I want to unbox it for you guys and maybe compare it to some other phones, turn it on, etc. So the box is kind of clever. It opens like this, and show you some of the writing here. Smarter, sharper, sleeker. Here's the phone with a little bump where the camera controls are located. And then on this side here is the edge of the phone. The back, there's some bullet points that show you what the phone can do. And on top, there's a cool little Motorola logo. So the other side here has the label with serial numbers. I'm not going to show you that. So the packaging is clever. You just pull this up and it stops at the top here. It's very well designed. And then you pull this up and it kind of gives you this bit of a stand for you to look at the phone. So it's really cleverly done. So here's the phone itself. It's got a mirror finish on the glass. This is not just a protective cover that you're seeing. It's actually a mirror finish. So that'll be really interesting to see how much that affects taking pictures. Hello, focus. There we go. How much that affects taking pictures and focusing on it. Now in the back here, I'm going to quickly cover the serial number. There's no battery cover. That's actually inside the box. You can see the SIM slot right here and the battery contacts, as well as the SD card slot. And here's the Xenon flash, LED for autofocus, and of course there's a little cover on this, but this is the 8 megapixel focus again. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see. Here, that's the 8 megapixel autofocus camera with mechanical shutter. So this is pretty cool. It's exactly mechanically and optically and sensor-wise the same as on the Droid X. Now, on the bottom here, you have a speaker grill. You notice this is the same design as the Droid 2, this kind of bluish finish with a silver rim around the edge. So let me give you a tour of the front. You've got these usual 4 capacitive keys for Android, and then you have 3 kind of like little indicator lights. I don't know if you can see these. Let me see if I can focus on this. It's really hard to see. There they are. Not sure what they do exactly. I guess they tell you what mode you're in: photography, video, or picture viewing. Focus. Yeah, picture viewing I think is the last one right there. And then here on top you have the shutter key, very nice, feels really lovely, and some kind of menu key probably to select what mode you're in. And here's that bump. It's really quite cool actually, I think. And then here, continuing along the right side, you get the volume rocker, which is also used as the zoom button. On top here you have the power button, headphone jack, this is the front, and you have the HDMI port behind this little door. See if I can open this or not. Maybe not. Let me try this again. There we are. So here is a mini or micro HDMI port. And then you got a lanyard thing here. This is the left-hand side now. I'm not doing this in the usual order. Here's a micro USB charge port. So let's open this door up if we can. There you go. Standard micro USB for charging and data. And then continuing along the other edge, other side of the left, the other end of the left side, sorry, you got nothing basically here. At the bottom, you don't see anything. There's probably a mic, yeah, right there. See, this is a very similar edge to the Droid, the original Droid, but the same color as the Droid 2. And then on the very top here, you get some sensors. I don't think there's a front-facing camera here. And you've got speaker grill, the Motorola logo. And that's it for a tour of the phone. Now let's look at the rest of the box quickly. So as you can see here, there's a cute little charge me first, please kind of thing. And let's see. So the way this opens up, there's like a little detent. It's really well done. You've got a bunch of stuff in the box here. Let me get to it one by one. So this is a British unit. So it comes with an adapter for the US here. This is the battery. Let me see if we can see some information on the capacity of this battery. It's 1390 milliamp hour. This is actually a pretty common battery here. It's a BP6X. I believe this might be used in the Droid 2 and the Droid, but I'm not sure. I'll have to check. Then you have the AC adapter, which is, as you can see, a British AC adapter, and it's kind of massive. It's just USB at one end here, so probably won't be using this. I have a million USB cables and chargers floating around. This here is the micro USB data and charge cable. You can see one end here, the other end here. Now these serial numbers are not serial numbers, they're just like the SKU number for this item in the box. This here is the headset, sorry. So you can see somewhere there's a 4-prong standard 3.5 millimeter connector. Standard stuff. This is probably nothing to write home about, but we'll try it out perhaps at some point. I don't want to take these out because I'm going to unbox this for pictures. Now this is really clever. You can see it's a pretty big bag, and it contains the HDMI cable, micro HDMI on one end here, and a standard HDMI connector somewhere else where I can't see it. But this is cool that they ship with that. This is probably like a $30 cable normally on eBay or whatever. And then here's the battery door. You can see there's a little bump here in the battery door. I don't know if you notice. But we'll get to that in a second. In fact, I'm actually going to open this right now because I need to, I want to do a first power on. As you can see. So, what else is in the box? That's it. Well, the manual. Notice, no legal disclaimer, warranties, nothing. Just a tiny little manual. Now, this is the way it should be, manufacturers. Alright, so this is what's in the box. Let me pull out some other phones so we can do size comparisons. Quickly, I want to show you the N8. So this is the N8. Here's a size comparison. Let me turn on the camera. I wanted to show you the camera lens comparison, the size. So this is, as you can see, here's a 12 megapixel autofocus camera from the N8, and as you can see, the the Milestone XT720 has a very similar lens opening, so it should be gathering about the same amount of light, and so that's exciting to me. So in the front, it looks like this. In the back, looks like this. And thickness-wise, they're about the same. I think the XT720 is a little slimmer. Let me see if I can stick this battery door on here so that we can... there we go. Or maybe not. I guess it won't stay on with the little plastic cover. But it slides just like the Droid, basically, in this direction. There, I think I got it on somewhat. I'll have to remove those stickers in a second. Second comparison I want to make is with the Droid 2. So now look at this, same screen size, 3.7 inch and same resolution, 850 4x480. And here you have this kind of blue finish. It's not nearly as blue on the Droid. It's kind of more of a black blue, whereas this is a blue blue. And then you get this kind of silver edge on both of them. So it's an interesting kind of in-between design step. Then I want to quickly show you another 8 megapixel camera phone. This here is the T-Mobile Samsung T929 Memoir. Now, this is still one of my favorite all-time camera phones. And look at the lens. It's very similar in opening size. Maybe, maybe not. So this is a this is not a smartphone. It's not an Android phone, but it's got Xenon 8 megapixels, really good camera phone. I've used it a lot. You check out my blog. You'll see all my pictures from Burning Man were taken with it this year, so there you can compare. Size-wise, well, you know, screen difference is pretty big here. We have I think a 3.2-inch touchscreen. It's resistive on this guy, and here's the back. The battery door fell off. Here's the thickness. You can see the Samsung's quite a bit thicker, but this is a 2-year-old phone. So finally, I want to maybe compare it with the iPhone, because you know that's pretty much of a reference. So here's the iPhone 4. Here's what it looks like in the back, size-wise, and then thickness. You can see the iPhone's a little thinner, but not that much. So and you can see here how it kind of gets a little thicker by the camera. Actually, it's on the other side. Sorry, it gets a little thicker by the camera here. You can see it there. There's a slope. And then just quickly, very, very quickly, because I want to be able to fit this video into 15 minutes. Here's an Nexus 1. Also an unlocked AWS phone, just like, by the way, the N8 is an unlocked AWS phone. And then here is a 4.3-inch HTC phone. This is the Desire HD, just for a size comparison, so you get a feel for the difference. All right, and then thickness, you can see that. Desire HD is pretty thick, actually. Now, finally, let's start this guy up. I'm going to remove the cover here. And I'm going to remove the lens protection back here. This is turning out to be a little more difficult. There we go. And then finally I want to remove the battery door cover protection, like that. And I have a SIM card here ready to go. So we'll just stick that in there, like this, and then put the battery in, which I know I should be charging. Don't worry, it'll happen. And close the battery door like that. So now you get a feel for what it looks like. You can see this bump in the back. So let's turn it on. Now it's full of my fingerprints. Power button's up here. Look at this reflective surface. There we are. Hopefully we can fit this into 15 minutes. So I wouldn't be surprised if one of the first things it does is it goes out and gets a firmware update. I mean, it won't, like, unless it'll prompt me first, but there's good rumors that the original CPU was underclocked to 550 megahertz, and it's capable. It's a Cortex A8, and it's capable of much more. So they supplied an update that allowed it to clock at its standard 720 megahertz. Welcome to the Milestone XT720. As you can see, you can change the language, but it's a standard Android setup. Now, by the way, this does not run Moto Blur. This runs a few customizations from Motorola, but it's pretty much straight up Android. I'm going to skip how to learn how to use my my Android phone, because I already know how to do that. And I'm going to skip the creation of accounts, because I already have it. I'm going to agree to the Google location. Here we are. And like you can see, this is a few of the customization right there. This is like the Motorola style of tray. So now remember, the phone is still booting. It's still reacting pretty quickly. You have 5 home screens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there you go. So this is the Motorola Milestone XT720. Expect more on this, especially on the camera, I'm Tankro. You can find me on Twitter at TNKGRL, and my blog is Tankro Mobile, tnkgrl.wordpress.com. This is the Motorola Milestone XT720. Cheers.